Liga coming to an end, it's time to review Barcelona and do some player ratings. Hello guys, welcome back to El Merengue Culé. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Do me a favor, sit back, enjoy this video. Again, we're going to do some player ratings. We're going to be taking into account their season, what each individual player has offered to Barcelona, or what we expected them to offer for us. It will be each player will be rated on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being neutral, anything above being positive, anything below being negative. We'll go ahead and get started. So first off, we have Neto. Neto, he's a great goalkeeper. He just hasn't played enough for us. When he's played great. He has not made too many mistakes, but again, he just hasn't played enough. It is important to take into account his attitude, right? He is playing under Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen is a fantastic keeper, and it's hard to steal that starting 11 position from Ter Stegen. So with that being said, I'm going to have to give him a very neutral score of 5 for Neto. I think at any other team, or not any other team, but most other teams, he would be the clear starting goalkeeper. And it's nice to have a replacement for Ter Stegen in case of any possible injuries. So we'll go ahead and move on to Ter Stegen, the man we keep talking a lot about, right? In my eyes, Ter Stegen is one of the Barcelona leaders. It might not be out there, but in my eyes, he's one of our leaders. He has kept 17 clean sheets in all competitions. And my goodness, how many games have we seen him pull an amazing save in the early minutes, keeping us in games, not letting easy games slip away from our fingers, giving us a fighting chance. I think he has saved us and single-handedly gotten us a lot of points. So in my eyes, Ter Stegen is a 10 out of 10 for this season. Great job. So we'll go ahead and move on to the defenders. We'll start off with Umtiti. Umtiti, he didn't play much. When he did, he was slow. He had a few games where he played well, and then he would go and make stupid mistakes that really set him back a lot. I think he cost us a few points. I do think he did. As a whole, I'm going to have to give him a 3 out of 10. I just don't think he's at the Barcelona caliber that he might have been a few years back. I think we should get rid of him, whether it be maybe a loan and in hoping that he regains his level, or maybe just flat out sell him. You know, he did pick up a lot of injuries in previous seasons, and he just kind of hasn't lived up to the level that we've seen him play or that we expect of him. So we'll move on. So Umtiti gets a 3 out of 10, and we'll move on to Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo has had some very good games, but overall, he hasn't looked confident enough for me. He's looked a bit shaky. We bought him to be Jordi Alba's replacement in the left-hand side, but based on the minutes he's played, I don't think he's proven to anybody. I don't think he's proven to the fans. I don't think he's proven to either one of the coaches that he can't be his replacement yet. He is young. He does have a lot to offer. Hopefully next season he proves us wrong. But for now, it's going to have to be a neutral position of a 5 out of 10 because he has not played bad, but he is lacking confidence. So we'll move on to Araujo. Again, another player that has not played nearly enough to give him like a full rating. But when he's played great. He's proven to be a super fast defender, similar to Varane in my eyes. He's solid. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He does have a promising future. And yeah, overall, he hasn't played enough for me. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10 with super excited to see what's to come from him. So good job, Araujo. Keep up the good work. You get the Merengue Culé approval. We'll move on to Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba, he has had some good moments. He had a good start to La Liga. Then we saw his level decrease a lot. Then he picked up that injury, which really set him back a lot. He ended La Liga well, but overall, I don't think it's one of his best seasons at all. So I'm gonna have to give Jordi Alba 6 out of 5, or 6.5. My bad, 6.5 for Jordi Alba. We'll move on to Sergio Roberto. Again, he suffered an injury. kind of midway through La Liga. What he offers a lot is versatile, right? We've seen him play all the positions in midfield, right? Central mid, defensive mid. We've even seen him play outside mid, and of course the right back position, which is kind of where we're used to seeing him the most. So he is versatile. However, I don't think he's good enough to be a starting 11 at any of those positions. You know, he does his job well, but he doesn't offer much extra. He has the Barcelona DNA. He has had some good games. He has had some bad games. Overall, he still does get the merengue culé approval. We'll give him a 6.5 on the same scale as Jordi Alba. And with that being said, we'll move on to Semedo. Semedo, he did not have a good start to the season. For a long time, he was competing with Sergio Roberto for that starting position in the right back. But towards the end, after the restart of La Liga, he really showed to us what he's made of. The reason why we bought him, right? We know he's super fast. We know he has good defensive positioning and tracks back on defense a lot. But towards the end, he showed to us that he offers a lot to the Barcelona attack. We started seeing him kind of make a lot of runs in behind. Messi find him a lot, and he started picking up assists here and there. And then he even picked up a goal towards the end, a goal or two actually towards the end. So overall, for me, I'll give him a 7.5. If it was based off only the ending of La Liga, that score would be higher. But considering he didn't have the best of starts, I think a 7.5 represents him pretty well. We'll move on to Lenglet, one of our most solid defenders for sure. He is the player that will stay focused from minute 1 to minute 90. We've even seen him pick up a lot of leadership, which is hard to do considering Piqué has been kind of like the backbone of our defense, the main leader. So it is nice. Lenglet is not slow. I don't think he's the fastest, but he is not slow. For me, I think it's been the best season that we've seen of him. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. And we'll move on to Piqué. Again, Piqué and Lenglet had a very, very good level this season. We've seen, you can look at the numbers. Barcelona has been defending a lot better this season than in previous seasons. And I do think, despite Piqué getting older, I think his level did increase, at least from last season. Whether it be from his experience that we know he has a lot of, right? Obviously, he has a lot of leadership in this Barcelona team. His positioning is fantastic. Just like with Ter Stegen, there's been a lot of games where he saved us. He has had game-winning tackles. In my eyes, he did a fantastic job this season. He did pick up a lot of yellow cards, which, again, shows us his age, right? Shows us that maybe he's a step too late. But overall, again, fantastic player. 8 out of 10 for Piqué. And we'll go ahead and move on to the midfielders. We'll start off with Ivan Rakitic. Again, Ivan Rakitic is a player that was a bit inconsistent. He had some good games. He had some bad games. He does show he has good positioning. But overall, when he comes in or when he does play, he slows down the Barcelona team way too much. He just he's had a slow playing style, which is something that's started to hurt us. Again, he doesn't bring much energy to the Barca team. With Valverde in the start of the season, we could not count on him. Valverde could not count on him. He did not play at all. So I think he is one of the players that does not get the Barcelona he does not get the merengue culé approval. I'll give him a 4 out of 10. Maybe it's time for him to go. Maybe not. So with that being said, we'll move on to Arthur Melo. Arthur, he's a player who has fantastic skill on the ball. He's someone that can shield the ball really well. Again, he had some fantastic games, and then he had some not so fantastic games. I don't think he's lived up to what we expect of him, or he didn't live up to what we expected of him. I think his main issue at times is that he plays a little too horizontal, not vertical enough, right? We don't see him breaking enough lines, trying to play that killer ball into the attackers. Obviously, the last month it was confirmed that he's moving on to Juventus. we didn't really count of him. We didn't see him play much. I tried to take that into account as little as possible, because I don't think that was 100% his fault. So I'll give Arthur Melo a 7 out of 10. You know, he still gets that merengue culé approval, but I don't think he lived up to what we expected of him. With that being said, we'll move on to Busquets. Busquets, it's a hard one, right? He has been one of the best midfielders of La Liga for so long, if not the best midfielder for quite a few years now. I mean, he's a fantastic player. He is getting older. He's never been fast, but year after year, he is getting slower. I think under Setien, he did play a lot better. I think Setien's tactics suit his playing style a lot more. And yeah, he is kind of our only true main central defensive midfielder. So it's kind of hard to replace him when we don't have another player that plays like him. We saw him not start a few games. We saw him come out. And I think as a whole, Barcelona suffered when he did go out. He offers this kind of, I keep repeating this in a lot of videos. He gives us an anchor, right? He solidifies the team. He brings us down, and he kind of brings us all together. For me, Sergio Busquets, 7 out of 10. Had a good season in my eyes, but not his best season. We'll go ahead and move on to De Jong. De Jong. He's an impressive player. He's a fantastic player. He moves the ball really well. He moves with the ball really well. He tries to break lines. He plays slow when he has to play slow. He has a fantastic understanding of the game. And what he offers a lot is he offers a lot of youth and energy. And unfortunately, he did pick up an injury towards the end, which caused him to miss out on quite a few games just on how fast the games were coming at that stage. So I'll give him an 8 out of 10. I think he had a good season, but I think there's still a lot for him to show us. That's why I'm not giving him a higher rating. Overall, for me, a fantastic player. And now we'll move on to Ricky Pooch. You guys know how I feel about him. Not just because he's my tocayo, but he played well. It's important to note that he didn't play at all in the beginning of the season. It was only towards the end when we started to see him play. But he did play really well. He impressed most of us. I think that's fair to say. He's shown to us that he has a good understanding of the game. He knows when to break lines. He's shown to us that he has a very good understanding of the game. And something that we don't really see a lot of in Barcelona is a player that can truly break lines consistently. Yeah, De Jong shows that here and there. But I think we haven't seen a player like that in years. He adds a lot to the transition of this Barcelona team. He is super fast. He will close down space. He will win balls back despite his relatively small size. Overall, when he played, he impressed me tremendously. But I can't give him anything above an 8 out of 10 just because he missed out on a good chunk of La Liga. So yeah, for me, Ricky Puig, 8 out of 10. Super excited of what's to come of him. Hopefully he will continue to impress us in future seasons and in the Champions League. I think it's a player that will stay with us. He's told us that he wants to continue with Barca. So hopefully he will become a backbone. He will become a player of what's considered the Barcelona DNA. And yeah, I'm excited for what he has to show us. And finally, the last midfielder, Arturito Vidal. He was a player, we bought him and didn't know what to expect of him. Obviously, with his days at Juventus, with his days at Bayern, he has shown that he's a fantastic player. Kind of a unique style where he plays box to box, right? He can defend, he can attack. We didn't know what to expect of him when he joined Barca. We thought probably he had reached his prime. He was probably down the decline, but he impressed us all. Again, he offers so much versatility. I think he played in every single midfield position, whether it be defensive, attacking, central, or lateral on the wing. And man, what he offered to us, he offered attack. He offered to us 8 La Liga goals, which is insane for a midfielder. His stamina, right? His physique, his strength. He's probably one of our most physically strong players, and what I love about him is he plays with heart. He plays with fire. At times that did get the best of him. We saw him pick up a red card kind of stupidly in one of the games. But for me, Arturo Vidal, 9 out of 10. Keep it up. Hopefully you can stay at this level for years to come. Maybe not. But again, super pleased with your performance. And with that being said, we'll move on to the attackers. We'll start off with Ousmane Dembele. He is one of our most expensive signings. He's a fantastic player. We know that. We know what he can create. Unfortunately, he has had way too many injuries. It's really hard to judge a player when he has not played enough. He has not lived up to our expectations. So this might be a bit of a harsh score. I'm gonna give him a 2 out of 10. Again, I could see it being a little bit higher, but for me, he hasn't played enough for him to deserve anything above that. So with that being said, we'll move on to Braithwaite. Braithwaite's he's a good player. We bought him to when Suarez got injured and when he had to undergo those surgeries. We bought him to replace him. He didn't play much. When he did, he didn't play bad. He played well, I guess. He offers a lot of energy. He does do that. He played with heart. He tried to fit into this Barcelona team as much as possible. He's fast, and he does have really good attitude. I'll give him a neutral score, a 5 out of 10. He offered what we bought him for. The only clear memory of him where I wish he probably should have shown a little more was against Madrid. There was a one-on-one opportunity that maybe had he put it in, maybe the outcome of La Liga could have been a little bit different. But that's a topic for another day maybe. So yeah, again, 5 out of 10 for Braithwaite. And we'll move on to Suarez. Suarez, he started off La Liga pretty well. Then obviously we saw him. He's been playing injured for a while now, and it got to the point where he had to undergo the surgeries. He couldn't put it off any longer. Obviously, those surgeries caused him to miss a lot of La Liga. Debatably, you could say he got lucky of the whole COVID situation because he wouldn't have seen the end of La Liga at all. But because of that break, he was able to play at the end. However, when he did come back from those injuries, it set him back a lot. We saw him play slow. We didn't see him have the same off-the-ball movement. However, he did show that he still has that striker's instinct and at any moment he can score. Obviously, we know how well him and Messi can play together. So overall, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I do think that injury really set him back a lot. But it is important to note, he's our central forward. What do you ask out of a central forward? You ask him to put the ball in the back of the net. And he did do that. He did score 16 La Liga goals, which is a lot, and it's something that has to be taken into consideration. So he still gets that Barcelona approval. I'll give him a 7. But we have seen him come into decline, which is something that obviously I don't like to see of. So we'll move on to Griezmann. It's his first season at Barcelona. He had to go through that adaptation period. It was possibly a bit long of an adaptation period, which kind of brings his score down a little bit. Overall, with taking into account all competitions, right? So Copa del Rey, Champions League, he scored a total of 15 goals, which is not bad. Not bad at all. We did see him miss some clear chances, so that number could have been a lot higher. He had games where he was fantastic, and then we had games where we expected a little more out of him. I can clearly remember that game against Atletico Madrid. Yes, he did get subbed on minute 90, right? We didn't give him much of a chance to show himself. But when he did come in, he played a little bad. He gave up possession a bit too often for me. After Setien finally understood where Griezmann likes to play, where he plays his best, right? In that central forward, right? Griezmann picked up his gameplay a lot, and he showed us that he's a promising player, and he still has a whole lot to offer. He offers a lot of off-the-ball movement, right? We see him weaving in and out of the defense, trying to create space, trying to create an option for Messi. Another thing that Griezmann offers to Barcelona is kilometers, right? He is one of the players that runs the most in the field. He's a player that defends a lot, an attacker that defends a lot, which is not something we're too used to. I think he's one of the players that wins the ball back the most. Overall, I think he's shown a good attitude. I think he's shown us that he wants to stay at Barcelona. I think he'll become a player that will stay at Barcelona for a long period. He will kind of eventually become a player that is known for his Barcelona days rather than his Atletico Madrid games. At least that's what I hope of him. Overall, he ended the season really well with Setien. I'll have to give him a 7 out of 10. I'm excited to see what's yet to come of him. And with that being said, we'll move on to Ansu Fati. Man, I think he's impressed us all. Thank you, Valverde, for giving him an opportunity at the age of 16. Ansu Fati started scoring goals. Then he turned 17, continued scoring goals. You know, he's gotten a lot of assists as well. And he's hungry. He's a hungry player. He's shown to us that he does have attacking instinct embedded with him. He didn't play enough for the season for me to give him a 10 out of 10. But for me, Ansu Fati, a 9 out of 10. Keep it up. I'm super excited of what's yet to come. Hopefully you can still continue to score some more Champions League goals this season. And of course, for next season, continue scoring. And that leaves us with our last player, Lionel Messi. This was hard for me to really pinpoint a score from him. Obviously, the top scorer of La Liga, the top assister. He is Barcelona's best player, without a doubt. We depend on him, whether that's good and bad, right? If he has a good game, if he has a good game, Barcelona has a good game. If he has a bad game, we have a bad game. Why I say it's hard for me to give him a true score is because despite it being a very good season, it was not Lionel Messi's best season whatsoever. Something that I didn't like is how frustrated he would get. Even when he scored, he would kind of show frustration, and it leads me to wonder if he's frustrated at himself, at his decline of gameplay, or if he's frustrated at the Barca team as a whole. I don't know. His free kicks were not as accurate as we have seen of him in previous years. He did score a few at the end. We saw him score that beautiful one. I don't think the rapidness of games, right? We're playing 2-3 games a week. Obviously, as an older player, that's bad. He got tired. He's a player that he said that he doesn't like being subbed off. He'd rather come on as a sub. Obviously, he's not going to come on as a sub, and to the extent that he matters to this Barcelona team. So overall, I don't want to give him a 10 out of 10 just because it's not his best season by any means. But I think a 9.5 would be the rating that I give him. Again, we are super dependent on him. He is the Barcelona player that impacts the games the most. So with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed this style of video, please leave a big thumbs up. My brother will be doing the same video, of course, with Real Madrid instead. And if you guys would like to see a little bit more of a debate style video, again with these player ratings, please let us know down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with the Real Madrid and Barcelona news. This was Ricky from El Merengue Culé. And with that being said, Visca Barça!